Have you ever had a coworker that literally made your skin crawl? Not because you did something to them, but because you didn't? This is a story about a job I took twice because of the pay and the benefits. But the second time I went there, I ended up in a totally different department, and that's when I met her. So when I first started there, I was getting acclimated to the store, getting accustomed to the people that worked there and everything like that. She was loud all the time. I was trying to be nice and everything. I introduced myself to her. She introduced herself to me. I did it for almost everybody that was there. It was more like a social connection. And first, I didn't think that I would ever have any problems. Like, you know how you always go into a job and you be like, okay, I'm gonna be nice and cordial to everybody. I shouldn't have no problems. Well, it was kind of one of those. I developed a few friends, obviously, because we all started together at the same time. You know, she introduced herself to us and everybody, and I started to see how much of a ringleader she really was, so to speak. She had her own little crew. She picked on people, just randomly picked on people. And I thought in the back of my mind, like, okay, she not really picking on them. They like friends, but that's how they play or whatever. I don't really know. I just got there. So there's no way I could have known how she is initially with these people. But she was just loud and obnoxious. There was one time when I met her in the bathroom, she was in the bathroom first and then I came in, and as I'm coming in, she's walking out and she just looked me up and down like, excuse you? She didn't say nothing, but she just looked me up and down. And I was just like, okay, like what the hell? At that time, that's when I was wearing my wigs. I was wearing my wigs every day to work. And I don't know if she was hating on it or if she just was like, who does she think she is? Whatever. But when I get around her, I can feel the tension. I can feel it. And it's just like, ooh, girl, like, what is your deal? She just used to be so loud, rude, and messy. And she would talk about everybody all the time. And to me, it was just like, she's just so attention seeking. And I just made it a point to not give her that attention. And it took everything out of me to not react, to not respond, to not anything concerning her. I just looked at her and I just gave her a look like, you need help. You need a prayer and some help because, girl, why? And guess what? She almost ran me over, like in the parking lot. And the weirdest thing about it, I never said anything to her. Not before, not after, not during. And because of that, she got fired. Somehow, me avoiding her interaction is what ultimately pissed her off. Let me explain. So, her first interaction with her, she introduced herself. She was hot. I forgot her name. I really did forget her name. And she had her little crew. She had her right-hand man and she had her crew, and they will follow her. They will hang out with each other, lunch, break, whatever. And when she didn't show up to work, her right-hand man kind of like stood in her place and did the same nonsense that she would do. She introduced herself and, hi, my name is so-and-so and nice to meet y'all. I do this, that, and third around here. And if you need anything, you could come to me. You don't even have to go to the managers or the supervisors. You can come straight to me. And I was just like, okay, thanks. Ever since then, I haven't said a word to her. Not no good morning, no nothing. I remember her name now. It was crazy how I remember her name now. I'm not going to say her name, but I remember her name now. And she would look at me up and down and she's like, you don't speak? And I would look at her. She would ask me questions. She would talk to me. She would curse me out. She would share stories with me, and I would not even respond. Not an acknowledgement, a head nod, nothing. I wouldn't say anything to her. That's how I was keeping my peace, because Lord knows I wanted to beat this girl down. Like, I wanted to drag her through the warehouse and back. But I was just like, let me not do that. There was one time she lied on me and said that I said something to her, and my friends would vouch for me every single time, because the thing about me is I would not necessarily talk about her behind her back, but I would tell them how she would make me feel and the things I wanted to do, but I would never express it to her. I would never say it to her. And my friends would always be like, why you don't say nothing, Jess? Why you don't say nothing? And at the time, I really did not know why I didn't say nothing. I wasn't scared of her or jealous of her or anything like that. It's just something in me was just telling me not to say anything. Don't say anything. Your silence means a lot more than speaking out. So I didn't. And, there was one time I was in a parking lot and I was walking back and forth because I was waiting for my ride and they couldn't see me and it was a big confusion. So I was walking across the parking lot and then I finally was like, you know what? I'm standing in the front at the door. You'll see me because it's right when you're coming out. So of course, my ride took a while to get to me, but she just happened to come on the job site first. She didn't work that day, but she did come and pick up her friend, her right-hand man that worked that day. And she literally was parking in the parking spot next to where I was standing, but she almost hit me in the process. Face forward, like, girl, you didn't see me? Like, your car is not that big. I am not that small. Like, you literally almost hit me. Not only that, but where I was standing was right in front of a camera on the outside of the building. So even if you say that you didn't try to do it, you literally did, and the camera caught everything. Right after that, my ride came up and I was furious. I wanted to pop all her damn tires. Like, that's how mad I was. And my ride was like, no, let's just go, and just pulled off. She never did anything to my car when I was working there. I never did anything to her car when she was working there. But I got fed up. My friends got fed up. My friends individually reported her. And then after the investigation started, they asked me for my side of the story. And after I told them my side of the story and how often the events kept happening, they put us on suspension because they said that I was the victim and she was the aggressor, and she's also been targeting other people at the job. After she did all the stuff she did to me, she started targeting my friends because my friends had my back. She didn't like that. She wanted everybody to be collectively about her, and we were suspended for a week. The investigator called me and told me that it was okay for me to return back to work. They have terminated her and she is no longer working at the warehouse anymore, and I could come back to work. So I came back to work and everybody was like literally in my face. What happened? Where you been? Blah, blah, blah. At the time, I didn't really care to tell the story. Like, my friends was filling in the blanks. I didn't really care at the time. I do remember one particular person that had my back. Even the supervisor, I forgot her name. She loved me, okay? When I say she loved me, I will call out. I will come to work late, and you're supposed to get points for those things. She would never give me points for that. She would come in and have a talk with me, and she's like, I understand what you're going through, blah, but I'm not going to give you a point. If they ask, I'll cover for you. And I was just like, damn, girl. And she was the manager of the section of me and the girl that, she would vouch for me. She would go in there. She's like, oh, I got your back. I will write a report and say that you came to me. Like, she would literally help me throughout the whole thing. And I knew that the situation was bigger than me, bigger than my feelings, bigger than how I would normally respond to the situation. And that's why I did it the way I did it. I feel like God really was guiding me through this, because every ounce of my blood wanted to smack the living daylights out of this girl, because she was literally bullying me. She was picking on me. She was doing everything. And the one thing I just don't tolerate at all, I don't care if it comes off wrong or not, is disrespect. I do not tolerate disrespect. I don't care who it comes from. If you old, young, if you've been on the planet for 1 billion years, if you've been on the planet for 2 days, I do not tolerate disrespect at all. So the fact that I had to put my pride aside and navigate through that the way God wanted me to navigate through that just said a whole lot. And this is why I feel like her gentle rebirth has formulated, because I think about that story all the time and I'm just like, my God, the way I reacted and acted throughout that whole time is so not like me. But it makes me feel so empowered because my silence spoke the loudest, even though she was loud and obnoxious, you know? And it was just crazy to me. But that's my story time. Let me know if something like this has ever happened to you at your job. Let me know if you relate to my story and what did you do when something like this happened to you. Subscribe to my channel because I will have another story next Saturday. Thank you guys for watching till the end, and I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Bye.